Hello and welcome to the next video tutorial for community accounts. In this video we're going to cover the well-being charts. The well-being charts allow you to view the information for one indicator for all the different communities available in the province. To view the well-being charts you can click the button Change to Indicator Charts within the Ranks table page, or you can go there directly from the well-being indicator page. So in this example I'm going to go there directly from the well-being indicator page. So I'm going to choose Average Couple Family Income for Gander. So as we went over in the previous video, the red part of the chart represents approximately the bottom 25% of all communities. The yellow represents approximately the middle 50% of all communities, and the green area represents approximately the top 25% of all communities. So in Gander's case, it is in the green area in the top 25% of all communities with a value of 94,400. We can see that the community furthest to the left or the bottom of the scale is Peterview at 39,300. And the community furthest at the right or the top of the scale is Churchill Falls at 138,900. The interesting thing about this chart is that the proportion or size of each individual region is based on the spread of values in that region. So for example in this chart the green region is a lot larger than the yellow region, even though the yellow region represents 50% and the green region represents 25% of all communities. That's because the green region ranges from 71,500 to 138,900. A range of over $60,000. The yellow region represents a range from 54,400 to 71,400, so a range of $17,000. So those middle 50% of all communities have values very close together. To see the second chart, we scroll down the page. As we scroll down, you'll see information about your selected indicator as well as the source of your selected indicator and our standard block of text explaining the color ranges that you'll see throughout the well-being features. So the first thing you see when you see the second chart is a note above explaining that there are entries where multiple communities have the same rank and well-being value. And there's a listing of all those communities below the chart. So as we can see in this chart, all the indicator values are represented as a scatter plot. Well-being rank is on the x-axis, from the highest rank to the lowest rank, going from left to right. The indicator value is on the y-axis, going from the lowest indicator value to the highest indicator value. So in this case, again, we see Churchill Falls is the community with the highest value and the highest rank, so it's on the far left. Peterview is the community with the lowest value and the lowest rank, so it's on the far right. As we said in the chart previous, you can see that the 50% of all communities represent a fairly small amount of value compared to the 25% of higher ranked communities. If you want to see the point that represents your selected community, if that value is available, you can click Highlight Point for Current Community, and it will highlight the point for your community, in this case Gander, with a rank of 14 and a value of 94,400. If you click the button again, it will turn off the highlight. If you want to zoom in to a region in the chart to look at it more closely, you can click and drag. You'll draw a rectangle on the chart, and then the chart will zoom in to show the points in that region. Again, you'll be able to mouse over each of the points to get the tooltip explaining which communities make up that point. In this case, as you can see at rank 73, there are multiple communities, and it mentions the C below. So first I'm going to reset my zoom. I can click the Reset Zoom button. Then I'm going to scroll down to see what communities are at rank 73. And in this case, rank 73 is Fogo, Stephenville, and Rocky Harbour. One thing you'll notice in this data table is that there are groupings of color. These groupings represent communities that are tied. So in this case, Fogo, Stephenville, and Rocky Harbour were tied. Above we can see that Old Perlican, Port Saunders, and Brigus Junction were tied. But then North Harbour, Placentia Bay, Come By Chance, Makkovik, and Nain all have unique values. The next thing that I want to do is show you these charts for a subjective indicator. So I'll scroll to the top of the page, and I can use our Change Year or Indicator button that we saw in the ranks table. So I'm going to change to one of our subjective indicators, and I'm going to use sense of belonging to a community age 12 plus. So in this case, when the chart loads, you'll see that we get the notes that we saw in the Wellbeing Ranks table, explaining that communities that were not available for this indicator have been assigned the value of their local area or economic zone, and a note explaining that when you see E with a value, it denotes a high sampling variability, and that you should use those numbers with caution. In the chart below, we'll see that Gander actually has a value which does have an E note. And we'll also see that the confidence interval has been integrated into the value. So this will be the case for all the values in the chart. The values here explaining the ranges, the median of all communities, the provincial indicator value. As we scroll down, you see that once again we do get the confidence interval. If we scroll to the data table below, we'll see in this case that there's a lot more ties, and that's because, as I said before, for these indicators we are using, in this case, the local area to represent the communities in the local area, because none of these communities had values available for this data source. Again, we see that we get the value and the confidence interval, and if applicable, we'll get an e-value. One last thing to remember about the well-being charts is that they are only available for communities at present. So if you change to a geography other than a community, like say a local area, you will instead get a listing of the communities that are available in community counts from that local area. So in this case, Benton and Gander. If you then choose Benton, you will get the same charts that we had earlier, but now using Benton as the selected community. So that covers the basics of the well-being charts.